14 seconds, that's all I had left on the clock. 30 years of watching this game, never playing it, and there I was. One ring, one last boss, and a countdown that nearly ended everything. This is every Sonic 3 boss fight ranked, by a dad who was 3 decades late to his own gaming childhood. Quick bit of context, I'm a 90s kid, but I was the notepad kid, the one who watched other people play, drew maps, kept scores, but never actually held the controller. Sonic 3 specifically, never saved to my memory card as a child, so when I finally played through it recently, I was a grown man with a beard, and a 4-year-old. Every boss was a discovery. No walkthroughs, no guides, just me, the screen, and 30 years of second-hand Sonic knowledge, being stress tested in real time. Here's how I'm ranking them. S tier, boss fights that became a moment, something I'll remember. A tier, solid, proper boss energy, did their job. B tier, functional, fine, it didn't ruin me. C tier, we went through it, we survived, we moved on. And then D tier, was that actually a boss? And I just want to be clear, I'm not ranking difficulty alone, I'm ranking the experience, the story, the moment. That's what matters to a 90s dad who spent 30 years on the wrong side of the controller. So let's get into it. First up, we have Angel Island Zone. Act 1. The opening of Sonic 3 is not subtle. Within the first minute, Eggman shows up, torches the island, and then you're running through fire. As a spectator kid, this was chaos. As a player, still chaos. But now I was responsible for surviving it. The Act 1 boss is quick. Eggman descends, throws fireballs, you land your hits, clean, confident, done. It's a handshake of a boss fight. It says, "Welcome to Sonic 3, here's what we're doing." What I love is the pacing. It doesn't try to kill you on the first hello, it sets the tone. This game has ambition. There's more coming, much more, but right here, it's respectful. So I'm giving it an A tier. First impressions matter, and this one says this game is going to be different. Next up, we have Angel Island Zone in Act 2. And I need to be honest with you, there's a cinematic before this boss. Eggman's bomber descends from the sky. Sonic and Tails are running through the forest. The bombs are falling, the music is building, and I forgot I was playing the game. And then, game over screen. In my defense, it was a beautiful cinematic. And in my defense, no, actually, that's all I've got. When I got back to it properly, the boss felt like payback. Eggman in his craft, bombing runs, learnable patterns, and I was focused now. Embarrassment does have a way of sharpening the mind, so I'm giving this A tier. The cinematic alone earns it, and a comeback win always hits different. Next up, we have Hydrocity Zone. I need a moment. The zone itself nearly broke me before I even reached the boss fight. Metal fish grabbing me mid-jump, moving walls trying to crush me, bubble boxes giving me just enough hope before the next drowning panic happens, and chat absolutely roasting me for blaming the controller, which, for the record, the controller was involved, well, mostly. So by the time I reached the Act 1 boss, I was already running on borrowed energy. Eggman appears trying to vacuum pull you into danger, and I was still mid-anxiety spiral. When the fight starts, somehow, panic mode worked. So I'm giving this B tier. Functional, effective, and entirely on brand for the most stressful zone in the game in my opinion. Then Act 2, and this boss is just cruel. It raises the water level in the water zone, which is exactly the kind of Eggman energy I should have expected but I still wasn't ready for. The whole zone is a villain. The bosses are just the punchline. B tier again, because at this point I wasn't trying to enjoy them, I was trying to survive them. Which I think was exactly the point. Marble Garden Zone. Oh, this one. Steep hills, oil that somehow causes drowning, tiki masks shooting arrows, spike logs, mace balls, and a magnetic thunderbox that I never fully understood. For most of the level, the zone just keeps going and going, and when you think you're done, there's a cinematic. Tails scoops up Sonic, they're flying. It's a very touching moment. A breather after everything, and then it turns into a boss fight. What a twist. I actually laughed out loud, alone, at my screen. An Eggman machine disguised as a rescue sequence. That's diabolical game design, and I respected it entirely. So I'm giving this an A tier. for the twist alone, for making me feel like a fool in the best possible way. Next up, we've got the Carnival Night Zone boss, or as I called it at the time, Casino Night. I walked in expecting something fun, bouncy platforms, palette cleanser. What I got was a puzzle solving nightmare. Balloons, moving platforms, ricocheting billiard balls, and then I got locked into a section with a magnetic thunder mechanic that kept killing me over and over. No pattern, no logic, just death. I reset the entire level, started again, and then they told me there was a 10-minute timer. Since when was this a speed run? So when the Act 1 boss appeared, I'll be honest, I hit it until it stopped moving. I'm giving this C tier, not because it was bad, but because Carnival Night had already taken everything I had. Next up, we have Carnival Night Act 2. Eggman with a magnetic ball. Predictable, readable, 3 attempts, and I had the pattern. After everything Carnival Night threw at me, the confusion, the timer, the reset, this boss felt like the game holding the door open. Like it was saying, alright, you survived, go on then. So I'm giving this A tier. Not for difficulty, but for relief. Genuine relief. Next up is the Ice Cap Zone boss fight. After Carnival Night, this felt like a holiday. Sonic snowboards, there's an avalanche, and it had the energy of a Sonic Adventure level. And at this point, that comparison felt like high praise. I had hope, and then I saw the timer again. Of course there's a timer. Same pattern style fight, but that timer brought back all the Act 1 trauma immediately. The difference? I was ready this time. Carnival Night had trained me, so I'm giving this B tier. Competent, fair, only emotionally damaging because of what came before it. Next up, we have the Launch Base Zone finale. Launch Base Zone. I needed a break before I even started. I stepped away, made a coffee, and had a word with myself, because I knew this is where the game ends. The Cannonball boss, a very predictable arc, learnable pattern. I absolutely cheesed it, no guilt, and I saved my energy for what came next. Because what came next was in 3 waves of final boss. Laser beams, floating shield sphere, keep one ring, find the rhythm. I got through it. Then, days turns into night. Eggman comes back, still surprising me. Still. And then, 2 giant fists. A spiked Hedgehog helmet. Full WWE energy. I couldn't land a hit. I got grabbed. I died. And of course, if you've seen earlier videos, I saved on the game over screen. I had to restart Launch Base entirely. Second attempt, studied the pattern, timed the jumps, found the rhythm, and then that timer appeared. With only 14 seconds left. One ring that I'd grown very sentimental about. 30 years late, I'm going to give this S tier. No debate, that moment was 30 years in the making. So here it is, the full tier list from a 90s dad who was 3 decades late. S tier, Launch Base, Final Phase. A tier, Angel Island Act 1 and Act 2. Marble Garden, Carnival Night Act 2. For the B tier, we have Hydrocity Act 1, Hydrocity Act 2, Ice Cap Zone. Moving on to C tier, we have Carnival Night Act 1. And D tier, there's nothing. Not a single boss wasted my time. 14 seconds wasn't just a boss fight, it was a story. If you've never played Sonic the Hedgehog 3, then play it. Not just for the nostalgia, because even coming to it fresh as a grown adult who spent 30 years on the outside looking in, it earns every minute. And if you want to actually see how I got to that 14-second moment, the full playthrough, the panic, chat roasting me, it's linked down below in the description. I'm SpoodersWeb, and this is Nostalgia Burnout with one dad's extra life. Stay nostalgic and keep hitting the start button.